Hi guys, welcome to my channel and to my Back to Beauty No by Year. This year I'm concentrating on using my makeup and not buying any. Today I am using my makeup to bring to you my update for my hashtag Pan as Old as Time Pan That Palette project. Pan as Old as Time is a project through the Pantastic Ladies, who I will have linked down below as always. But the idea is to work on panning your oldest or one of your oldest palettes in your collection. And if you have missed my other videos, I am panning the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. There are 35 shades in this palette. I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to completely empty this palette. I don't think it's even possible unless I break them all up and put them in the bathtub and bathe in them. But in a dream world, I would like to hit pan on most of the shades in this palette during 2019. So let's get into the update. So, most exciting news first, I have hit pan on two shades this month. I hit pan on this shade in Light mid-month, but before that, I finally hit pan on this shade right here called Meeks. Of course, I will have close-ups for you, but I am very excited that I have now hit pan on 2 of 35 shadows. Which brings me to my next little update slash bonus piece of information. These, what did I say? These 4 right here, these 4 darkest shades, which are actually at the bottom of the palette. This is Abyss, Soda Pop, Central Park, and Enchanted. I'm not going to work toward panning those or even hitting pan on those, I don't think. If I do, it will be a bonus and I'll be very excited. And it's not that I'm not going to use those shades, I just don't think it's worth my time or even feasible that I would hit pan on those shades this year. So that's 4 out of 35, which leaves me with 31 shades to hit pan on, minus the 2 that I hit this month, which brings me down to 29 shades that I need to hit pan on left this year. So let's talk about the shades that I was concentrating on for the month of March. We have MFEO, Buns, Meeks again, which I did hit pan on, Soda Pop, which was this purple, and I had a really hard time using it, though I did incorporate it in a couple of looks. This shade right here called Obsessed, and the purple right here called Royalty. So I think the 2 most successful shades this month in terms of progress were definitely MFEO and Buns, which is this shade and this shade, yes. And it was interesting to me, through using Buns, it almost has like a rosy quality or a touch of red to the brown, and it's really, really pretty and very versatile to use with a variation of a transition shade. So I feel like I made good progress on those. I also feel like I made good progress on Obsessed over here, which is one of the shades I will be carrying over into next month. And then in terms of Royalty, I think I used it 2 or 3 times at most. It is a beautiful shade. I will continue to reach for it, but I'm not going to carry that one over into April. And then, like I said, Soda Pop over here, this deep, deep purple. I used it a few times to deepen the outer V of the eye. It does work that way, but it takes so very little of the product. That's part of why I said that these are kind of out of the running in terms of pans that I want to hit. I did create 13 looks using my palette this month. They were all but one Pan That Palette partner looks. I kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit when it came to progress for March for my Pan That Palette, which is fine. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not beating myself up over it in any way, shape, or form. But I did plan for a 3 looks 1 palette, a 3 lucky looks for St. Patrick's Day. I did a most and least expensive get ready with me, neither of which was using the Jaclyn palette. And then I also did the ABH palette, playing with palettes I don't own video. So that was 9 days out of the month of March that I couldn't use my Jaclyn Hill palette. So that's fine. I now have that information going forward, knowing that I want to be successful at panning this palette. That doesn't mean I'm gonna stop doing things like 3 looks 1 palette, whatever. That's just the information that, because of those unique content type videos that I didn't make as much progress on my palette this month. Last month I created 22 looks with my Pan That palette. So that's the information that I have. Let's go ahead and check out the looks that I created with this palette this month, and then we will come back for my shade goals for April and my final thoughts. So I hope you enjoyed those looks. I, as always, so far, really enjoyed pairing my Pan That palette with the other palettes that I used in my Pan That palette series with my girl Angela. That playlist will be linked below, as well as Angela's playlist. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a good month. I don't have any problem with the progress that I made this month. There's definitely visible progress here. I forgot to mention that the shade that I used the most that wasn't in my shades that I was focusing on was this warm pink right here called Sissy. And I did make a decent dent. I think if I were to concentrate on it another month, I will probably hit pan on that one soon. But let's go ahead and talk about the shades that I'm going to work on this month in April. So the first shade I want to work on this month is this beautiful mustard yellow right here called Creamsicle. I think this is going to make a beautiful transition. I think it's going to start waking me up in terms of spring colors, and I'm excited just to figure out all the different ways that I can pair this shade with this palette as well as my Pan That palette partners. The next shade I'm going to work on is the worst named shade I have ever come across in my journey in beauty, and that is this shade right here, which is called Pukey. It is a beautiful shade though. This is definitely more of your brown mustard shade. And I actually think that the Pukey shade and Creamsicle are going to pair together really nicely for setting up the crease for quite a few different looks. I do have Pukey in my transition today. I like it. It's fine. I just hate the name, really. And then also, I want to continue to work on buns this month. I think it'll be a nice shade for deepening up the outer V or the crease with the Creamsicle or Pukey or both. But also, I'm really enjoying the shade, and I think if I keep at it, it might be one of the first deeper shades that I hit pan on, and I'd be really happy about that. And then the two lighter shades that I'm going to work on this month is this shade right here, which is called Little Lady. You can probably see that I have a little dip right there. This is a beautiful peach shade. It is what I have on the inner part of my lid today. I am so excited to work on that shade. I definitely love peach for spring, so I think that's really going to help me out in some of my looks this month. And then this shade right here, Obsessed, as I mentioned before, I am going to roll over into April. It's a beautiful shade for an inner corner highlight, brow bone, or a highlight on the lid. And I'm just really enjoying using it, and I'm hoping to make even more visible progress this month. That is my update for Pan That palette, hashtag Pan As Old As Time, for the month of March. I am still loving this project so much. I'm not even remotely sick of Jaclyn over here, which quite frankly shocks the crap out of me. I last year panned or worked on or tried or failed miserably at panning the Naked 3 palette, and I'm just enjoying this so much more than that it's quite shocking to my system that I'm able to happily reach for this palette as many days as I possibly can. This is Editing Kyra. Isn't she beautiful? Just kidding. I totally forgot to film the part of my Pan That palette update in which I tell you which 4 palettes I will be pairing with my Pan That palette in April for Pan That palette Partners, which is a series that I created with my partner here on YouTube, Angela from Beauty by Angela. And so I'm going to do that right now. I also wanted to mention that for me, all 4 of the palettes that I'm going to be using with my Pan That palette this month are palettes that I received from BoxyCharm. And it's the same for Angela, except for one of the palettes, which I will mention, in which she purchased it herself, I believe, or got it in a giveaway or something. But all four of them I received in BoxyCharm. So let's have a BoxyCharm month, shall we? In week 1, I will be using the Ace Beauté Grandiose palette. So there are 8 shades in here. I actually really do like this palette, and I look forward to getting to use it more in the first week of April. The second palette, and this is the palette that I was talking about, I received the ColourPop Element of Surprise palette in my BoxyCharm, and I'm really glad that I did. This is my one and only ColourPop palette, but I absolutely would purchase more if it was a color story that I was interested in, because it is a really nice formula in my opinion. I don't have trouble with any of these shades in here, and they're very affordable. In week 3, Angela and I will both be working on the Alamar Reina del Caribe palette. And there's a second volume out of this. It's really beautiful, but there's some shades in there that I know that I don't need or wouldn't use, so I won't be purchasing it, but it is very beautiful. And this is what she looks like. We have 8 shades in this palette to work with, and I'm really excited to use this with my Jaclyn Hill palette. I don't know that I'll be focusing on any of these shades in the Alamar palette, to be honest, because I have dupes for all 4 of these shades in the Jaclyn palette, and I'd rather make progress with her than with this. But I can tell you I will definitely be using the metallics because they are stunning. And then in the last week of April, I will be working with my Violet Voss Pro palette. This is the Holy Grail palette. It does have a mirror, so I'll hold it upside down. But there are 20 shades in this palette, and I'd like to say that I've gotten to use it more than I have, but I really haven't. I received this in my Boxy Luxe in December, which I no longer receive BoxyCharm or Sephora Play, but I am very excited to dive into these, the few times that I've gotten to play with it, as well as through swatching it, as well as I have the Violet Voss Flamingo palette, and I love the formula, so I can't wait to work with these shades. So those are the 4 palettes that I'll be working with in the month of April. Let me know if you are doing the Palette Partners series along with Angela and I. Which palettes are you going to be working on with your Pan That palette this month? And with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful Pan That palette makeup days. And I will see you in my next video.